Hello ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure you read by the title, this is a video about the game Smite. Now, Smite is a MOBA, except it's a different type of MOBA. It's not like the other MOBAs that you may have heard of. It is a third-person over-the-shoulder view. This style changes the game drastically and makes it more action, adding more action into the game while still maintaining that strategy that it already had. Now, if you guys want to get better at Smite, then this is kind of the series that I'm doing right now. This specifically is on 3v3 Joust. Smite has multiple game modes and other tutorials on how to be better, and a little bit of tips on those will come out soon. But we're focusing on 3v3 Joust. Now, to start off, what you want to do to get better at this is to start at some point. First of all, you need a god, but if you're focusing on 3v3 Joust, it's going to be very difficult with certain types of gods. If you don't know, they're tanks, assassins, I think they're warriors or guardians. They have many different play styles that you play with them. You don't want to start off with a god that has low health and just high damage. That's going to be a little tougher because you have to know how to play your role. That may be easier for you if you've come from other MOBAs and you're better at that style, but this MOBA is drastically different. If you guys want it, by the way, the link will be in the description below where you can get it for free. Yeah, I'm not joking. You actually can get it for free. Like, why would I be lying to you? Anyway. So as you see right here, I choose Kukulkan. He is the old version, well, he is kind of the new version of what used to be AO, but they're revamping and recreating that god. So basically, he's a little bit tanky, but he can also dish out damage, and he's more of like, his 3 ability, which is a tornado, that takes out a lot of minions, and that can like linger around and stays, the effect stays on certain gods and enemies for a little bit of time, which deals damage as they go away. So as I play AO, obviously I don't want to be in front of my minions, I want to be with my minions, so that way I can pop my 3, which is my tornado, which takes out the enemy minions fairly easily. Now with AO, what you want to do is, your ultimate is usually coming as a surprise to end a kill. You're not going to initiate with that like a lot of other ultimates from different types of gods. For example, Artemis, which is a stun that stuns everything around it, that's an enemy god, and kind of it's her boar that goes to every other enemy. We want to do with, well, what I'm doing with Kukulkan is basically you want to be able to have, I guess, control. You want to be able to control where the minions are, how many minions. So if you're pushing, you want to kill the enemy minions first, so that way you can keep pushing and maybe push a tower or a phoenix or even a titan, which is the end goal. What you want to do now is, once you're being able to take care of enemies, at the start you might have to use your 3, which is the tornado, and then a 1, which is kind of like a singular blast that spreads out, and it'll be able to take out every minion. That's the style that I'm playing with Kukulkan. And then your 2 is usually an escape. I always use it for an escape because it's hard to initiate with it, because it's not like a jump or a leap like other gods. It's more like speed, so I can use it to get into battle really quickly if I need to help my teammates. But most of the time, I guess like 90% of the time, I really do use it to escape, because Smite is a it's a skill shot, skill shot MOBA. So that means you can wiggle around your enemies, and it actually it's a lot harder to hit, so you have to get used to it, so don't worry about that. Next, at the beginning, there are different playstyles that people do when they start. For no matter what god you pick, some people go straight for the mana buff, which is on the right. You go straight and right, the first buff on your right of the jungle lane, because there are 3 lanes, except there's only 1 lane, but there's 3 on the map that shows left and right are jungle and buffs and all that, and the middle is where you concentrate in 3v3 Joust. Now, as I'm sure you may assume, 3v3 Joust is 3 gods against another 3 gods. So what we want to do against that is you want to make sure you have a balanced team. If I'm playing a tank and there are 2 other tanks on my team, we're not really gonna, the chances are we're not gonna be doing that well, because we need to get the roles right. If I have an assassin and a warrior, which means it's a little bit middle, and an assassin is high damage, I should be a tank, so that way we can have great synergy amongst our abilities. What you also want to do is you want to wait for it to get the camps until mid to late game, because if you get them early game, you're going to show up at your lane with low health, and then you're just going to be picked off, and that buff was for nothing. Some people do start with it though, because then they, they're able to manage, because like 2 people go there, get the buff, 1 person's in lane, distracting, and kind of keep it going. This is a very popular strategy. Since I'm playing Kukulkan though, I'd rather stay in lane and kind of, because some people don't do this strategy, so if your enemy brings 3 people to the lane and no one's at your lane because they're getting a buff, that's kind of dangerous. So since I'm playing Kukulkan, I will sometimes go straight to the middle and kind of distract, I guess, and harm them a little bit, pushing them back, what you also want to do is you want to know what your abilities do and have a plan on how to get a kill, even if a god is at max health. For example, let's say there is a god in front of me that is at full health. I know that I can pop my 3, use my 1 to slow them, use my ultimate to do high damage and kill them, and use my 2 to escape. You have to have a plan like that to be able to accumulate kills and level up. Now, most of the time, that's not how it's going to go down. Usually, you're going to be engaged in a fight. Then you might, for example, use your 1 to stun, 2 to get away while a teammate gets the kill. Or at least that's how it is for Kukulkan. Obviously, different gods have different abilities. You want to use a god that you're comfortable with. Usually, gods with high health are easy to start because you're not going to be pressured to worry about your health too much. You're going to more be pressured about, I guess, taking damage and taking out minions while the other higher attack gods take the other gods out, giving you a chance to move up. Even though you may be in front of the battle with Kukulkan, you probably shouldn't. You should stay like middle. By that I mean it's not in front of minions, not in the back of your minions, but I guess kind of in your minions, like aside them, because that way you're going to be able to push with them. That is the thing with the god I'm currently using, which is Kukulkan. You want to push with your minions, not ahead of your minions or behind your minions. Next up, once you have a god and you know how to play him and you really want to, get more into it, what you're going to want to do is, when you see you're selecting items, at the start you might want to have auto item select. For it to be a lot easier for you if you don't know what's going on, but you may not want that and you may just want to pick from the recommended tab. That's also very useful. Now, abilities, or in the market there are two, like, I guess you can't sell these. I forget what they're called, I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm just having a brain fart. But basically you can only buy 2 of these and you can sell them. You cannot sell them. So that means you're stuck with them the entire time. What you want to do with that is that you want to get, for example, for the role I'm playing, I usually get Meditate, which gives me a boost of mana. So if I'm using a lot of abilities, but I'm so close to a kill and I can't use my ability because I'm out of mana, I pop it, which is my F usually, and then I can start dishing out and staying in lane longer, which is good for a character and a god like I am playing, because that way you can stay in lane and kind of keep the movement going instead of having to run back and forth or use pots for mana. Next, a very popular one is Hand of the Gods, which takes out minions. So since Kukulkan can take out minions by himself, it may not be the best, but it's definitely one to consider if you're using a lower health god, so that way you can take out minions much earlier. And you have to be careful with this, because if you're rushing in to kill, for example, the minions in the back, the gods may come in and attack you. Now, once you have all this information, you don't know what to do with it, you don't know when to use certain information, you have to also use your best call, how you feel the thing's going, because there's no set rules, because there's an virtually infinite possibilities for how the outcome of the battle may go. Now, if you're in a team fight, you need to understand your role. If you're a support, you gotta support the ones attacking, not the ones who are staying back and taking out the minions. If you're a tank, you want to be in front, absorbing damage, maybe stunning or slowing or freezing if you're Ymir. And if you're high attack, you want to get in and do damage and kill a god, but you don't want to stay in too long because you will die. Now, another thing that you can do if you're a high attack god in 3v3 Joust is you want to go, there's a middle section in between both towers of both teams, because if you don't know the layout, it's, for example, if you start at your base and you go straight, you're going to pass your Titan, then your Phoenix, then your Tower. So your Tower is your first line of defense from your enemies, then the Phoenix, then the Titan. Phoenix will respawn after a couple minutes, after a certain amount of time. However, the Tower does not, and neither does the Titan, because as soon as you lose your Titan, the game is over. So, what you want to be doing is that you want to, for example, in between enemy tower and your tower, there is a little lane. If you're a high attack god, you may want to hide there, and if another god passes by, and he's low on health by another teammate, you might want to swoop in and get the kill, which is, it's very efficient. You don't want to do that if you're high attack when there's too many gods there, because that means that you're not going to be able to live, most likely, because a few attacks here and there will kill you before you can even get anything done. Now, another very important thing is that you're going to rely a lot on minions, so make sure you have someone who can take out the minions on your team with their ability, not just the Hand of God ability or perk or whatever you want to call it. Call it whatever you want. I'm not going to force you, I'm just going to hold a gun to your head and tell you what to do. But yeah, so you want to be able to take out minions so you can push, because if your enemies don't have minions, they're not going to go ahead unless they're all tanks, which is stupid, because then there's no synergy, there's no real synergy amongst the group. So, this is kind of like the basic overview of how to get better. If you guys want more in depth, leave a like and drop a comment telling me you do. And there will be more of this coming out very soon. I'm getting more, as you guys may notice in this video, I'm editing more, getting a little more detail and more advanced editing, more higher quality videos for you guys, because I do not want to be posting too many low quality videos. I do want to put some effort in certain videos, and those will be coming out fairly soon. I just need time to, work with that, because I can't produce one highly edited video a day. It's still pretty, like, it's not my job. This isn't my job, my day job. So it's going to be a lot harder to do that, but I still have videos coming out. I try to make one every day, but there's definitely a couple a week, something like 5 a week. However, if there is something that is wrong, for example, no recordings, or if you don't see any videos for 3 days, that's because I'm probably stocking up, which is something that I do a lot when I need time to make a bigger video, but I still want to post out content. So that is it for me. Don't forget that if you want to get the game for free, you can click the link in the description. Also in the description, there's a bunch of other stuff like how to get partnered. A link to get partnered, even if you don't have, if you only have 3 videos and stuff, you don't really need much. But that link is always in the description, and there's always a bunch of stuff in the description, so you guys should check that out if you want to. And click that little big subscribe button. Click that if you guys want to be subscribed. I'm not forcing you to. Like I said, I'm just holding a gun to your head and telling you what to do. So thank you guys so much for watching with DFS Gaming, and I will see you guys next time.
Oh, hello again. You see those buttons on the screen right now? That subscribe one and all those other links and annotations? Be sure to click them so that way you can see stuff about me and more stuff about what I just showed you. Also, the links will be in the description below, so be sure to check that out. Peace!